You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Well, we've got with us today for You Cannot Be Serious, we've got Doug Hawkins, the great Doug Hawkins, Western Bulldogs, Footscray, Fitzroy Star, Champion. I can read your lips, Doug. Read my lips. No bush.
Champion.
Champion. And we've got Richard Wilson Croft from the Melbourne Underground Film Festival, which affectionately known as Dick from Muff.
That's it.
Muff being an acronym.
That's too many.
And we've got Ivan
Champion.
here, who's,
Dickie.
and Sue Stanley is here, but she's
Howdy, Rowdy.
Stanley Kubrick for the day.
Stanley Kubrick. Now, I wanted to just play this to you because this came up on my phone. You know how we start this with John McEnroe saying, "You cannot be serious, man," or whatever. This came from when he was questioning a line call in 1991 at Wimbledon, and I'll play you the whole thing, and this is where we got it from. And when I
Are you allowed to do this, Sam?
Yeah.
Copyright.
yeah, no,
right, okay.
John McEnroe's not copyright. So when we decided to do this 4 years ago, Don Scott, who used to be here, Don complained about the introduction about John McEnroe. Then he complained about the music that we play, Maxine Nightingale, and then he complained about the end of it when we finished saying "Come Back Again" with Daddy Cool. So I hope he's not listening to this. He won't be listening. But so this. I just thought you might be interested. This is the whole thing about how we got this. So here we go. I hope this comes through.
It was the wrong this side.
The ball, chalk came up all over.
No, it was a bit of a spread, Mr. McEnroe. That was a little.
Excuse me?
That was a bit of a spread.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line. Chalk flew up. It was clearly in. How can you possibly call that out? How many you can miss? Now he's walking over. Everyone knows it's in this whole stadium, and you call it out? Explain that to me, will you?
The linesman called a foul because the ball was on his side of the court.
The chalk came up, it doesn't matter.
No, the very fact that there is a spread of chalk, as you can see, Mr. McEnroe. Your second service.
So that's fantastic. That's how we got it. I'm just going to play it again. This is how it sounds.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
There we are. So that's how we came
Well,
to.
Sam, in footy terms, that'd be 10 50-metre penalties for umpire abuse.
That's right. Well,
Where was that at?
that was at Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
And I was at.
Were you there?
I wasn't there, but I was at the Rod Laver Arena when he got actually disqualified. He got ejected from the tournament for disputing a line call. He was fantastic.
So you can relate to him?
That is classic. That
Very colourful, wasn't he? Colourful bloke, great player.
Great player. You
Great
cannot be serious, and that's where we. That's
Yeah,
how we
so
got
you
the
got
name of our thing, which Don complained about every single part of it. So I'm told a very close confidant of ours, I can't mention his name because he's a doctor, Barney McCusker. He comes from Mount Gambier, and he said Don was up there with his horses and a huge equestrian event which he actually won up there, I'm told.
How long ago was that, Sam?
Beautiful. It was during the Easter break.
It was in Millicent, wasn't it? Millicent he was.
Okay.
Is that where he was?
I didn't
It's
know
near
that.
there.
Yeah, it is. You know that, do you?
Well, I heard he was up near in was it Millicent?
Millicent is the name of the town, but I didn't know he was there. How did you know that?
I just made that up.
Yeah. Well,
So we have eyes on
Sorry,
Don.
I just sound
eyes
good.
on Don.
Oh, well, Barney McCusker says he was up there belting the horses and swearing at them. And, but that's how he disciplines
Did you
them.
know, Sam, that the great Don Henderson, our fullback in the 54 Bulldogs premiership, was from Millicent? Did you know that?
I hitherto, up until then, David, I wasn't aware of that hitherto. No.
That's what made me say Millicent. Oh, Donny,
You sure it's
the
near?
late Donny Henderson.
Yeah.
How John Coleman did no goals. Not many did that in his short career, John Coleman, the great Essendon full forward. I thought that's good trivia for you.
How many games did John Coleman play?
He played about 99.
And when did he? How old was he when he retired?
He was very young. He had a cartilage repair work on his leg, which now would be 2 weeks out. He retired when he was about 24.
I think he tried when he was 24, I think. But that's for the man,
Yeah,
who,
that's
Before
how
they're
Ivan-
24,
age.
they're just getting started at 24 now.
man who has a great reputation. It's amazing that he just lasted that long, isn't it? Only.
Yeah, he would have kicked, I don't know. How many goals would he have kicked?
How many
In
would
that
he have
short
kicked?
99 games, he kicked
The late Tony
lot.
Charlton, who used to call, he said that he used to stand on opponents' shoulders regularly. I think that's a bit of hyperbole, Doug, an exaggeration. I don't think a lot of players stood on people's shoulders regularly. Warwick Capper, the Whiz.
the Whizzer.
The Whiz.
Doug Wade did once.
Dougie Wade.
Um,
Did Peter Hudson do that? Not much, did he?
no, Peter. Did he?
Not
I don't
a lot.
think so.
I think he more bodied him out.
Who's the
Peter McKenna? Tony Lockett?
No, I couldn't see Tony.
people's
Tony wouldn't do
shoulders?
it, would he?
No, Tony,
What
every now and then.
about
Ivan, every
Mr. Roach from Richmond?
Michael Roach.
Michael, he
Yeah,
stood on, took.
he could jump, he could jump.
Bill Ryan stood on someone's shoulders and took him out. Gary Ablett, I think, might have.
Peter Knights?
Correct.
But not many.
Malcolm Blight.
Yeah. Once or twice in their career they do it.
Did you do it, John? Did you do it, Sam, at all?
Regularly. No.
Had the 300.
How do you get up there? Is it one jump or you sort of
no,
climb
you-
up the back?
We
of
had
the
to run up, me and Sam.
Yeah, what you do is
Timing.
you jump a little early and you get your knee over their hip, and then they jump, they just lift you onto the ball. So it's, you've got to jump early and jump onto someone. And then when they jump naturally, they lift you onto
Did
the
you
ball.
hear that, Ivan? Richard, Sam, those comments you gave us at Footscray,
Yes.
when you come there as the ruck coach and you took on the great Andrew Purser, and you told him to jump early, put the knee in,
That's right.
and then you took a video around to his house.
And that was the last time.
Another story.
The last time
It was the wrong video, Sam, wasn't it?
Yes, I
And
think
the parents were sitting there, and you popped up, and you said, "This is the first quarter."
this is
And
correct.
someone was in the sack, and
This is
It's the wrong video.
The late Fred Cook had edited the highlights of the ruck contest, but had put them over a X-rated tape which he'd been part of.
Made for interesting viewing.
So you had the
And-
full audience there.
And he
the
swears,
the
he,
full
swears,
swears.
he swears to the day he died he didn't do it on purpose. I said, "You've just set me up there, Fred, because Mr. and Mrs. Purser were over from Perth for the first time watching their son play. And Andrew and his wife Jenny, we're sitting in the living room. We'd just... Jenny had just boiled a cup of tea, and we were all just about to sip the tea, and we'd gone through the first half highlights of the ruck duels, and the screen went blank, and the second half came on, except the second half wasn't the ruck highlights. It was Fred manhandling 2 or 3 women.
Boy.
And
Deary me.
I was told by a medical man that it's almost a physical impossibility to contort your body into the actual positions Fred had his body, with the women hanging off every orifice and appendage of his whole body. And as Mrs. Purser got the Lipton's tea to her lips just to watch the second half, her eyes dilated like organ stops, and she just was mesmerised at the screen as Andrew and Jenny said, "Sam, what are you doing?" I said, "What am I doing? Do you think I knew that was coming on?" And that was the last time I saw
It's Melbourne
Andrew,
free-to-air
Jenny,
TV.
or Mr. and Mrs. Purser. So that was absolutely quite true. Now,
We don't have a copy of it still. No, just ask.
no, I used to go around and tutor Andrew about, or not tutor, just give him some tips about how to play in the ruck. So
it was very. He turned up at training in Perth and he told me that story. So I said, "That's bullshit." I said, "That can't be right." He said, "Hawk, I'm telling you, this is what happened."
No, this is absolutely
Said this nailed
gospel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Richard, yes, Ivan, yes.
Now, I thought, Doug, seeing as we're on football, do you think Leigh Matthews has been asked to make extravagant and controversial statements just to give his profile or lift what he's doing? Because first of all, he said that you should get sent off if you tackle someone untoward in an untoward manner. And then he said we should cut out the bounce at centre ruck contests at the start of a game, so ban the bounce and send people off. Do you think, what is he doing stuff like that
Sam,
for?
Richard, Ivan, Leigh Matthews is in my best three players of all time,
Yes.
including Gary Ablett Sr. and Wayne Carey,
Yes.
and Leigh Matthews. They're my three.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greats. The send-off rule, I can't have it. I mean, it reminds me of junior football, but in saying that, let me say this. You can imagine in a grand final, this could happen. This could happen. Marcus Bompton-Pally, I think as you say his surname, Bompton-Pally.
That's the one.
You can imagine the Dogs are in a grand final, and in the first quarter, he accidentally runs into someone and he knocks him over by chance, and he gets sent off the rest of the game and gets cleared by the tribunal on Monday night. They'd burn AFL House down. Is that a fair point?
No, because that is exactly the point, Doug. That is exactly
it.
It's so subjective for someone on the sidelines or an umpire to say, "Oh, well, we better send you off." That is the stupidity of saying that. I don't mean to say Leigh is
stupid. I'm not saying that.
But someone's asked him to get controversial in order to lift his profile instead of being bland and beige.
But in Doug's case, when he was saying that, you've got a team that's got 17 players and another team's got 18. Wouldn't it be fair? I see what Leigh Matthews is saying. If someone's been taken out of the game, shouldn't you even up the other side? Does that change?
Ivan, did you not hear what he said?
I think because
What did he say?
he's our captain and he's our best player, and for an accidental thing, which he is out of his character totally, I think you have to try and judge it horses for courses on the moment, on the incident. But then again, umpires, they're only human. They're only human. They can get it wrong. Wow. And you know what I'm saying, don't you? I mean, that can actually happen. And imagine that
mistakes can be made.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
well, if you go back to the 1989 grand final, Hawthorn and Geelong, that was almost all premeditated. You could have a game of five people on either side. You know, do they all, in Leigh Matthews' case, do they all just get taken off? And
Ivan, Sam, what did you make of it? You haven't said anything about
what.
What did you make of Leigh's comments?
No, they're ridiculous. I said they've obviously asked Leigh to make some extravagant and controversial statements to lift his profile if it needs to be lifted. I'm saying, why would you ban the centre bounce at football? What's
the excuse for it? Why is he saying?
Because he says he wants to see two big men jump up for the ball on equal footing, if you like, because the ball goes straight up. But that's the art of ruck work, is trying to work out. And if they do stray too much, the umpires, they throw it up anyhow. But at least give someone a chance to work out if they can read where the ball's going and how to get themselves to it, or we can sanitise the game out of existence. You said you'd ban the bump if you were a coach.
I did, Sam, and I'm going to stick to that, gentlemen, because we saw that young boy from Richmond just on the weekend, Baker, was it not Bacon? who was the young bloke from Richmond who bumped the bloke? Do you remember that? Anyway, he got a week. It got upheld last night. It got upheld. Richmond went in obviously to say that there was. Again, I support what I said. I mean, if I was a coach now,
you support what you said.
I support what I say,
as opposed to you not supporting what you said. I said that, but I'm not supporting what I said. So I just want that to be clear.
I actually reckon if I was a coach of an AFL club, I would instruct my players not to make contact. Because the game's so quick now, you can hit the head so quick. I mean, we can line blokes up, Sam. We went over this, Dick, Ivan. We went over this not long ago, a couple of weeks ago, Sam. Yeah. You can line blokes up in our day because you can hit them down the middle, as Teddy would, EJ would say, hit them down the guts. Yeah. And you can do that, but now because it's so quick,
you do a lot of damage now.
100%, and you can't pick where they're going to go. So the head is out. You hit the head. You can still bump. We all know you can bump, but if you hit the head now, you're knackered. So you're knackered, aren't you?
The medical term. So do you remember Ray Card?
He got Keith Gregg one day there on the wing.
That is the classic shirt front, and it was completely legitimate. He hit him so hard, like he'd been hit by a train at a level crossing.
Do you remember that, you blokes?
Oh, you wouldn't. No? You want to
look it up.
You want to Google it one day. Look it up. He hit him, ran at him so hard, and how Keith Gregg got up, and it was completely legitimate. Didn't hit him in the head. He shirt fronted him. He hit him in the shirt. And broke about 8 of his ribs.
Wow! It was frightening. The ball bounced just over Keith Gregg's head as he turned. Ray Card, I reckon number 20 he was at Geelong.
20 he was.
And he's made physical attack on him. It was a beautiful shirt front, Sam, wasn't it? Keith Gregg got up.
He did. He got up.
To his credit. I don't think he knew where he was.
No, he got up. He sprang up like a jack in a
said,
box.
Where am I?
He thought, shit, what happened then?
Who put me here?
Yeah, but dazed, confused.
So I wanted to bring this up because Eddie Betts has been in the news because he had to endure, and people say we're systemically, or all the bloody slobbering suck-ups say we're systemically racist in this country, and of course we're not. But Eddie Betts had to put up with someone driving up in a car and barrelling his kids, racism, and being bigoted, and he had to put up with that, and it is a disgrace. And if anyone had to say that is not on, well, they're just being patronising. Of course it's not on. It is a disgrace, and we feel for Eddie and the fact that people in the community would actually get in a car and wind down a window if that is the facts and say what they said. And so we feel for the Betts family and anyone else that has to put up with that. Having said that, the trite, cow-eyed people who then went on, they conflated that with saying, well, if you vote no in the last referendum, of course, this thing's going to happen. How you could conflate the yes vote and the no vote in the last referendum with having to put up with that. And that's why you can't get any sense from people who have nothing more than virtuous, their sanctimonious piety, from saying, oh no, the no vote, that's what happens if you don't. That has nothing to do with the yes and no vote. But we take exception to the fact that everyone gets branded as racist in this country. But those people, if they can apprehend them, that is a disgrace, and no one should have to put up with that. And but to conflate with the cow-eyed journalist who said, oh yeah, and then went on to the next level and say, oh, if you voted, virtually saying if you voted yes in the referendum, or you voted no in the referendum, you are complicit in what happened to Mr. Betts and his family.
It's identity politics.
He's completely just forgetting about his history, because you got little Italian kids and Greek kids years ago.
Tony in the Victoria used to get the greatest
there you go.
use
But what's this bullshit about like institutionalized racism that you hear about like Collingwood came under attack for that. You know what I mean? Like different football clubs are accused of institutionalized racism. I mean, I've never seen that to be the case with any football club.
Dickie, can these idiots who abused Eddie's kids' family,
These racists.
is there a charge that these guys can be?
It's called a hate crime, isn't it? I think.
Is there a charge they can be?
I think it's called. You could be charged with a hate crime. I think, but this is what happens if you just go to the next level and keep trying to divide the country. So we go to. I don't mind saying. So did you watch Tim Tszyu fight that man over in Las
Fedora,
Vegas?
yeah,
It was
Fedora,
fantastic
6'6"
fight. And how
he was.
good was Tim Tszyu after he had he must have burst a blood vessel in his head. He could not see a thing after the second or third round.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Lennon Jr. announces him that he's from Australia, and in the corner there's this vacant-looking chameleon standing there. I don't know. He had a Aboriginal T-shirt on. He was a prop of it. He was standing in the corner with the Aboriginal T-shirt on. Would it be good if we could put the Australian flag in the corner? He's representing Australia. This was nothing more than a charade of someone standing in the corner with an Aboriginal T-shirt on. That's fine if you. He was introduced as an Australian, he's
not Indigenous.
This is my point. This was just nothing more.
He's Russian, isn't he?
Nothing more than
his dad is
opportunistic prop standing in the corner, and
virtue signal.
It is, and what. There was not one sign of the Australian flag having Jimmy Lennon said, and representing Australia. Well, I'd like to see the Australian flag in the corner. As if you're going to put any flag in the corner or any colours, let's put the Australian colours. And we are all, as the great Lionel Rose said, we are all one. We're not into the black and white stuff. We're all Australians. It'd be nice to put the Australian flag up. Did
you see the fight, Sam?
I
did.
Did
you actually see it?
Yeah, I did. Watched the whole lot.
Ivan and
no, I missed it. No.
Yeah, no, it was.
Tim Tszyu was. I know the other bloke was good, but he was very good because he won the fight. But he got a split decision. He was fantastic, Tim Tszyu. He couldn't see a thing
through his left eye,
like an oil gush had come out of the ground. He just came.
You imagine boxing with one eye. It's
difficult.
And there was apparently some controversy that the people in the corner
ointment wasn't correct.
If that is so,
stop that.
If that is so, if you are a cut man and you can't take the right ointment, I'm not. If this is true, if you're a cut man in the corner and you've got the wrong ointment, I mean seriously, what
like putting unleaded in the wrong tank.
They usually
diesel.
put hemorrhoid cream.
Did you know there's 3 types of
hemorrhoid
ointment
cream? No. Preparation age?
Of ointment that they had to pick from.
Yep.
And they didn't have the right one out of the 3. Can you believe that? Can you believe that your cut man's...
What would be the 3?
Want to name them for you?
Yeah,
I reckon Vaseline would be one.
Well, Dr. Hawkins wouldn't know the 3, and nor would anyone else. But instead of posturing by having different colours in the corner and trying to make a statement, how about we just get the ointment right for a start, so that if someone happens to be cut, all the peripheral hoo-ha about colours and everything else and trying to make a statement. How about we just see if we could fix up the boxer if he gets cut in the first place?
If you're the trainer or the coach of Tim Tszyu, what would you be saying to him and he's fighting a bloke 6'6"? What would your suggestion be to attack? You attack his body. He kept going to the head a lot. He's a head puncher, I know that.
Well, but in fairness to Mr. Tszyu, he won the first 2 or 3 rounds clearly by doing that. And then they said, and then he got an accidental elbow, and that was it.
Then it opened up his eye. He
got hit on the top of the head.
Yep.
His elbow hit him on the top of the head. Right. And I've never seen so much blood immediately pour out of a cut. It was extraordinary.
I reckon if it's by round 4, him being the champion, if they've has decided not
they
to
stop
continue
it
the fight, he wins
on
because
points.
he's correct.
He would have won, yes.
Correct, and you could do that by round 4, and
You could.
They chose not to. The corner.
Is that what
Tim Zoo?
Is that what the wife was a bit upset about? Do they think it was probably not gone his way? No,
I would think they thought that he would go on with the fight because he was beating him in the
Easily.
first 3 rounds. And if someone could have just stopped the blood, he probably would have gone on and but who would know?
But as your opponent, you would just zero in on that cut, wouldn't you? And just try and open it up, make more
100%.
blood. Yeah.
And there'll be a rematch, Sam, boys. There'll be a rematch. Don't worry about it. I think there was a signed contract that says that we're going to have a rematch and probably in Australia at some stage.
They showed vision in the rooms, I think, done on a camera phone. Tim Rizou was very gracious. He met him in the rooms and shook his hand and said, "You're a star and well done." And they were very good friends, if you like, or they held no. And Zoo didn't make any excuses. He, when interviewed, he said, "Yeah, well, I couldn't see a lot but that's boxing."
Yep.
Speaking of boxing,
There's a big Tyson fight coming up, isn't there? When's that happening?
oh no, that's Mike Tyson
versus a younger guy.
Mike
That's in
Tyson's
July,
fighting.
Yeah, he's back.
20th of July,
Training.
Arlington, Texas.
He's got to be
July.
50-something.
He is.
He'll be 58. Yeah.
I still feel sorry for his opponent.
I actually saw him punch the bag last night.
Really?
Still sharp. Hitting the
know.
bag hard. And,
Yeah,
I still feel sorry for his opponent.
Yeah, but isn't it amazing? We're talking about boxing and fighting. What about tonight?
Yes.
Nathan Brown.
Yeah.
Wouldn't bruise a grape for an axe. He wouldn't bruise a grape for an axe, Nathan. Lovely boy, great player, both-sided footballer. Fighting Kane Corns.
Yes.
Would you pay $1 to go see that?
No, but
Would you
Doug,
pay
They're
50?
lovely blokes.
But Doug,
good mates of mine.
But Doug, you say
They
he
wouldn't
couldn't
bruise a grape.
bruise a grape, but didn't you say that?
I said they
Yes,
wouldn't bruise a grape for an
but-
axe.
But that's not the point of boxing.
What is it?
Well, I'd suggest that if Nathan Brown is reasonably good at boxing and can just keep him away and go rat-a-tat-tat with his jab
and move and bounce.
That's right. It's not, you don't go out there and go bang and try and king it to someone straight away.
You go in there and knock him out.
Well, you do.
that's what we wanna see.
You do, Doug. But if you're not,
line him up
if
and then
you're
you
not
set
a
him up.
knockout specialist, Dan.
Specialist.
Knocking-
Nathan Brown, a knockout specialist.
Theoretically, if you're not a knockout specialist, you dance away from your opponent,
Tiptoe around a bit.
and then at some stage you can let go a right hand if he's not a southpaw. You can let
Would you
go.
go watch it, Sam? Would you go? Oh, I'll ask you that question. Would you go watch it?
I'm not driving to Adelaide to watch it. No, Doug, I'm not. I'm not watching it.
You can watch it on pay per view.
Pay-per-view.
Pay per view.
No, look, I wish them well, but I just the fact that they might be good boxers, Doug, it doesn't mean to say you have to be a massive
Anthony-
mauler.
I've watched them on. You've seen them, you blokes. You blokes seen them in the
They've
warm
been-
up on their training.
Anthony Rocker, have you seen him? He's lost 20 kilos. He's fighting
fat.
89 kilos. He is. Fighting fit.
Look at the line there, Sam. For
Who's
you.
he fighting?
He's fighting Corey McKernan, and he wouldn't
That's
bruise
right.
a grape and axe. A lovely boy, Corey. I'd rather see Warwick Kappa fight Tony Modra or something like that,
That'd be
or
good.
Doug Hawkins and Andrew Jarman or something like that.
Could you bruise a grape?
Oh, Sam, could I what? No, seriously, I could. No, I wanted to be one.
Really?
A grape?
Yeah, what colour?
Grape.
Yeah.
Can you believe
What's
he
eating
said
Gilbert
that?
grape?
Dick, Dick, can you believe that, Ivan? He called me a grape.
I said you said you wanted
I
to be
didn't say
one.
I wanted to be one of those.
So-
I wanted to be a boxer, Sam.
So you want to see brawlers just get in there and belt the living shit out of one another, do you?
We want to see blokes put a show on. I don't want to
Well,
go and
they
watch
might
some
put
bloke
he
pussyfoot
might-
around the ring and just dance and jab because they're great mates. They're on Channel 9 Sunday footy show
Do you think
together.
they'll be
You reckon they
ju-
want to hurt each other?
Do you think they'll be dancing around and just putting on a show? They'll have a bit of pride in it. Are they wearing helmets?
Headgear, yeah,
Don't
and
tell
it's
me they're
only
wearing
4
helmets.
rounds too, so you can only dance for so long.
4 2-minute rounds, or they're going to be 3 minutes?
I think it's
I
2-minute
reckon
rounds.
Corns will be the better dancer. I've seen him dance. They wouldn't have helmets on, would they?
You wouldn't have it. I think
Yeah,
because they're amateurs.
Oh, no.
I think amateurs
Please.
need
Oh,
to.
they're wearing
I think you're
singlets?
right.
No, they're not singles.
Oh, for fucking helmets. Turn it up. Is that right?
No,
They
they're-
played football for 12 years of their life without a helmet. Surely you could go 4 rounds of boxing.
And I think the boxing gloves are bigger. Is that right?
They're
16 ounce or something?
They're 16 ounce, 18. Yeah,
Oh,
18.
they might be able to lift them there. You reckon they're that puny, they won't be able to lift them.
Dave, I'm going to. In saying that, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Well, that said, you're in. You're in. You're
You
in.
watch that? I said the same. I'm going to watch it. Just for the small interest of them blokes, just to see how if they can put a show on.
Now I thought I'd mention 2 things that the world we live in, Doug. This is the world, Ivan and Dick. The world we live in. Do you care what anyone pretends they are, or signals, or wants to live their life as? No one cares.
I'd like to have the airline pilot be an actual pilot, not signal as a pilot.
Yeah, they've been put there because they know how to fly a plane, not because they're a diversity hire or they're transgender employee of the month.
Sorry,
No,
What
that's
are you saying there? What's Ivan saying? There's people driving our planes now ain't pilots.
I think we might be saying there's people who are not quite what they seem. Like
They're hired for diversity, not meritocracy, which is the
Am I
meritocracy.
missing something there, Sam?
Yeah, no, you're not missing. Ivan's gone completely off the. This is a completely
Are you
different.
talking about
topic.
England here?
No, this is a,
We just
in the
make it up.
name of
We make it up, Ivan,
diversity and
anyway.
inclusion and equity. They're lowering the standards so that people can now get jobs in various industries like medical profession, doctors, pilots, air traffic controllers. Just because they don't want to feel that they're excluded because they're not as talented or educated. This is fraught with danger. So if you've got someone who's become a pilot because the standards have been relaxed, would you like that person to fly you across to Darwin, Doug, where you've just
No, I
come
wouldn't.
from? You want someone who gets there on his merits or her merits, colour notwithstanding, or religion or gender. That's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about is that out here in this changing world that we live in, there's people, there's trans people, there's LGBTQ plus people, there are people pretending, there's people just taking on different roles. And we, when I say normal, please, you're not abnormal if you are all one of those other genders, but for the normal rank and file, we have to put up with being browbeaten on a daily basis. Now, did you notice that Easter fell on Easter Day? It fell on it, and that coincided, or it didn't deliberately coincide, but they made it Transgender Day of Visibility.
This is not Penny Wong.
Biden announced
it. wasn't
No,
Penny, was
this
it?
was in America. It became Transgender Day of Visibility on Easter Day, when people just want to go out and celebrate or be part of the religious Easter parade. They suddenly threw in the Transgender Day of Visibility on the same day. And
Biden announced it.
And Biden announced that. And
On Good Friday.
And Cadbury, instead of making Easter eggs, they now renamed them gesture eggs, so they didn't offend people who might have a religious bent for Easter. Now, this is the world we're living in, Doug, and we don't mind if people. And and the only reason I'm bringing this up is I want to read this out to you. You know how we celebrate days, like we have breast cancer month or day, or
Anzac
we
Day.
have Anzac Day, or we have Australia Day, and so every second week in America they have one of these days, and I'm going to read them out. Every second week, and this is happening here. I know you think I'm making this up, but I'm not. They have Stonewall Day. Now, Stonewall Day was the first gay bar in America, so it's called Stonewall Day.
Of course.
This is on a fortnitely basis. These
Got it
days
marked in my
come up
calendar,
that
Sam.
you're meant to adhere to or celebrate. Yep. Bisexual Awareness Week.
One of my favourites.
Celebrate Bisexuality Day. International Drag Day. International Lesbian Day.
I like to get involved in that.
Gender Fluid Visibility Week, International LGBTQ Plus Day, Transgender Day of Visibility, Transgender Day of Remembrance, Transgender Awareness Week, Transgender Awareness Month, Trans Parent Day, International Pronoun Day, Spirit Day, International Day,
Get on the spirit.
International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia, Pride Month, Intersex Awareness Day, Intersex Day of Remembrance, LGBTQ Health and Awareness Week, International Day of Pink, Day of Silence, Lesbian Visibility Week, Agender Pride Day, Harvey Milk Day. He was the first.
Harvey Milk?
Not Harvey Silver. Harvey Milk.
How about Harvey Norman?
Harvey Milk was the first gay politician in America.
That's true. San Francisco.
And the Pansexual and Panromantic Awareness Day. Now, there's 26 days. That's one
year.
every 2 weeks
Yep.
that you are asked to observe those. I don't think they've ever had I don't think they've ever had a heterosexual a male day yet. Waiting for that to come on. We'll
What
march.
country, Sam? We talking about
This
again?
is in America, and
America,
it's happening here. We just
It's not happening here.
it will be happening here. If you go down Beaconsfield Parade every other week, there is some parade that goes on down there that people celebrate their difference and who they are, and that's fine. But why do we have to put up with? Why does the rank and file have to put up with this? It's a bit like the race. It's a bit like the yes/no vote. We are all one people. If you want to pretend you're something else, but stop ramming it down our throats so that we have to think about what to call you and what name you want to go under. And we are being played.
It's identity politics, mate, which is a new politics that the left has embraced. I've been reading a book on it called The Identity Trap, a story of ideas and power. It's like 10 years ago, the left decided that no longer wanted to fight economic equity, which is basically what the left used to be about. So it decided to embrace, embracing your kind of identity, whether it be gay, feminist, ethnic identity. And this became the main political thing. And it also was decided that white people should be deliberately excluded, to the point where in this book it says that in some American hospitals, if you're white and they don't have enough medicine, for example, they will give it to people of colour or people in the trend.
Diversity,
there you go.
equity and equality.
Is that right?
It's an ideology, and it came from French postmodern theory, people like Michel Foucault, people like this.
As I say, we don't care. When it sounds like we care, because we do care. If you could just stop telling us,
Sam, no one would
just
know
how
that
to live
what you
our
just
lives.
said. Not many people would know what you just said.
But they do know about that
You caught me
transgender.
by surprise.
People were really pissed off about the Transgender Visibility Day because it was announced by Biden on Good Friday for 2 days later.
By
which
who?
is
Biden.
He passed away, didn't he?
He did. He has. He's
kind of right.
They still prop him up though.
He's a cadaver.
What's a cadaver, sir?
It's not a zombie.
He's stuffed. He is. He's
So
been.
he passed away about 6 months. Someone said he did that.
No,
I
said
think
was
you got the wrong person.
ex-president of.
No,
Yeah.
no, he's still the
president,
president.
mate.
Yeah.
He's still the president.
Yeah,
he is, yeah.
But he is. But he has.
Until Trump.
He has honestly passed away, Doug. He is not with us any longer. He's just propped up now. Someone works him with a foot pedal. And
Ronnie
that's true.
Plaskin,
Makes you wonder
Ronnie Plaskin,
who is
Jimmy
really
G.
running things though. Whose idea was it? Think about this. To announce on Good Friday it's going to be transcendental. How about transgender?
probably the worst day
Can we
you
have
could
an
do it.
invisibility day as well? How about a transgender invisibility? Well, we don't have to hear.
Maybe
about
the man who eats dogs is running the country, Obama. He's a dog eater.
Hey,
Did
Michael,
you notice he went to visit number 10
Michael
recently?
Obama? Barry.
That's his wife.
that's his wife.
Yeah, Michael.
Oh, Michael and Barry.
yeah, because
Barry and Michael.
Who's Barry?
He's got a train
Barry
Michaels.
Obama.
Barry Soweto is his name, or Barry?
Barry Obama. He's a dog
He's
eater.
not a bad type.
Do you know that? He
Michael?
eats dogs.
He what?
He eats dogs.
He loves it, mate.
He's
maybe that's his
conceded.
What do you mean he eats dogs?
He said he's eaten dogs. He eats dogs.
Barack.
Barrack, yep.
Rumor is
Barry
he's-
Michael.
Do you remember Joan Rivers?
No, I think we're getting confused.
Do you remember Joan Rivers? Someone asked Joan Rivers, like, who do
I
you
saw
think?
her stop and
who do
turn
you
back,
think-
Dick. Yeah,
who do
I
you
saw
think?
that.
You know, when do you think we'll have a gay president of the United States? And she said, we've got one right now, Barack Obama. And she said, we all know, that the wife is actually a man. That is transgender, like Michelle is a Michael, and then about 2 weeks later
she passed away.
She had a mysterious accident.
She disappeared.
She went in for an operation, like a fake. She was into.
And she kicked the bucket.
Yeah, I think maybe
allegedly
someone
got stitched up. Allegedly got stitched up. She did. No, Joan died. Yeah. After
2
she had a
weeks
crack
later,
at
mate.
Michelle calling her Michael.
She told the truth.
She disappeared. Sam.
I'm not sure about all that.
You get on that, don't you?
Incidentally,
They're pretty corrupt over there.
We're not
I think
bad
it's
ourselves.
a troll. Don't you think they're trolling? No, to
Well,
announce
well,
that on
Sam,
Good
I'll tell you one
Friday,
thing.
the Christian day's most holy day, where Christ is risen on the Sunday, that is the most holy day. And it's also the thing that offends the globalists the most, because they can't stand the idea of the resurrected Christ. You know what I mean?
Was it a press release,
Could you
or did
stand
he
that,
actually
Doug?
talk?
Can you stand the resurrected Christ?
Could I stand the...
What
Of the
Dick
Riz.
said. Can you stand the fact that Christ has been
Not
resurrected?
really.
No, look, we are a Judeo-Christian society, but we welcome any people from any other faith and religion. We welcome the Muslims, we welcome the Buddhists, we welcome the Catholics and the Protestants,
The
and
Mormons,
the,
the Hindus.
the Mormons, the bloody
Scientologists.
Seventh-day Adventists. Be what you like, but stop
Even the
telling us
Scientologists.
we have to adhere to all your ridiculous fucking bullshit to carry on with.
Do you swear then?
What?
Are we allowed to swear on here, are we? Oh. Now, just changing tack.
Yes,
Elbow's been under a bit of pressure.
Who? Yes.
Elbow.
Anal.
Hey, now, yeah.
Anal.
The acronym, isn't it?
It's true.
Anthony Albanese.
Anal.
They used to call Scott
ScoMo.
Morrison
Yeah.
ScoMo, so he
ScoMo.
is anal.
Hey, now.
Anal.
Anal.
He went over there to Alice Springs. He went to Alice Springs and rectified the issue there.
You wreck something.
Over there in the hour that he spent there,
1 hour.
and dropped 130 mil into their bag and
That's
just
right.
took off.
That's it.
And there was riots the other day there where 150 young blokes smashing a pub, the old Todd River Hotel on the corner. Sam, you've been
I have, yeah.
Boys, you've been there.
Yep.
Someone should
Yep,
get Sam
sure
up
have.
there to have a look at the situation in
Well,
Well, I mean,
Alice Springs. Yeah.
no,
Dick, that's not a
bad
that's
idea.
not a stupid.
I get on very well with the Aboriginal community, as long as they don't try and just
long as they don't signal
complain
something
about
else.
things that you never said.
You'd be all right, seriously. You'd be all right.
I would be.
100%.
Fine,
You've been to
yeah.
Alice. We've all been to Alice.
Yeah.
Town.
Yeah.
Whenever they had a flood in the Todd
Todd
River,
River.
and it would only happen once every 10 or 15 years, they would have to announce it, make sure, go down to the river, make sure we pick up the bodies, and because
Now look.
people sleep in the Todd River, don't they?
100%.
Now
do,
look,
Ivan.
what I'd like to do is I've got two
Take that
very
back to you, Sam. Yep.
two very important things to bring up. But what we might do is have a break, and if that's all right, because we think, Doug, we think that the people who listen to this have got the attention span of no more than about 40 minutes. After that, they
That's
doze
not
off.
correct, Sam.
No, always in life, Doug, be self-deprecating. Always talk yourself down. Never talk yourself up, because
I had a very high-ranking policeman, I haven't spoke for a while, text me the other day, and he said he was going for a walk and he's listened to You Can't Be Serious.
yes, we have.
And he loved it. He loved
Did
it.
he really?
And I haven't heard from him for a long, long time. And he said, listen
Doug?
to you blokes. It's been terrific.
Deliberately talk ourselves down.
Oh, down, eh?
We always do that.
Pump ourselves up a bit every
Why
now and
do
then.
that, Doug? Why do that?
Why don't we
Someone
do
asked
that?
me the other day who didn't know I played football because they were a young person, said, were you a good footballer? And I said, that is for others to say. I have no opinion about what I was like as a footballer. You have to ask someone who had seen me play.
When they ask me, I just tell them I was a superstar.
Champion. Yeah, but that's
But that's
different attitude.
But that's,
Two different
that's not
attitudes.
me being boastful or big-headed.
Just
Ivan.
being a
I
realist.
was. I was
You were
pretty
pretty
good.
damn good, yeah.
You know that, John. Sam.
thank you, Doug.
But if no one's going to pump your tyres up yourself, well,
Did you say thank you? Did you?
Yeah,
you,
but
Doug.
Doug,
Thank you, Doug.
but Doug, that is the different way of being humble or having humility. You can either say, well,
all
that's
the
for
tricks.
others to decide, or if someone says, were you a star, say, absolutely, I was an absolute star, and people can take it how they want to. So,
We having a break, Sam, are we?
Well, I am now, Doug. Yeah,
Coffee break.
I've got two.
Two more things now
interesting-
before we have a break.
No. So this is the other thing Don Scott criticised us for was the
Saint
music that we finish on. He didn't like "You Cannot Be Serious, McEnroe." He didn't like Maxine Nightingale saying, "All right, and we're coming on, we're going to get right," and he didn't like this, but he's going to have to listen to it again.